morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, man. How you guys doing out there? We've been crushing it over here. Back-to-back sweeps here on the channel, and overall just an excellent winning day. Baseball, NBA, player props. We've been doing it all types of ways over here. And in today's video, we're going to run it back. I've got a money line parlay for you guys. You guys know that's been cashing. I've got a builder parlay for you guys, a player prop parlay, and then also just one standalone player prop in the NBA. Let's get into it. Let's have a day. This is the Free Three.
I love it, Noble. Noble, I also love your YouTube videos. I watched them while I was gone. That was fire.
But getting paid because yesterday we had a full sweep. Mike going under, that was just icing on the cake. Why are we going to go in such a weak AFC South? Unless we have the NBA Blowout Association.
Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead with 13 seconds.
When you hear the sirens, you know what that means.
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
What is up, gang? What is up, gang? How you guys doing? It is your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as I just try to get to the bag together and make some money. And you know what? You heard the theme song. We're going to hit that horn. You know why? Because it is a sweep on the board. Yesterday, we had a 3-0 day here on the channel. That is through two back-to-back 3-0 days, guys. Listen, I don't know what's been going right for us in April. Yes, they say it was an April's Fool, but yesterday we got paid. We love to see it. In today's video, I'm going to break down how we did yesterday, go through a quick recap of how the month of April or March was for us, and then also we'll talk about our three plays today. I've got two parlays on the way for you guys, and then also one player prop, all right? Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Bobby Berg, I appreciate you, bro. Good to see you this morning, fam. My guy, let me look up your name real quickly here on YouTube. Lude1Amond. Lude1Amond. You commented yesterday on my video. I appreciate you. Because we swept the board, I am going to Venmo you our free 3 money. So if you DM me on X or on TikTok, Noble Living, or whatever you want to DM me on, shoot me over your Venmo information, bro, and I will get you paid out, bro. That's what we do here on the channel. If you comment on the video, if you're subscribed to the channel, and I just appreciate it, guys, because I'm just trying to grow. I'm just trying to help people, make money. I like to do this for fun, but also I just want to get you guys paid because we're getting paid over here, so I love to see it. All right, guys, so let's get into today's video real fast. Let's do a quick recap of how we did yesterday. Officially, we did go 5-2, but like I mentioned, we did have a 3-0 day, so still not too bad. Up $278 yesterday, 40% return on investment. Not too bad. You love to see the last 30-day chart. Look at that, just a straight up line. You love to see that. If we go to the exact plays from yesterday, the first one of the free 3 was UC Irvin on the money line. We got that done at plus 105. The second one was Denny Advia over 8.5 rebounds. Well, the guy grabbed 15, no sweat bet there. And then our builder of the day, our player prop, or I should say our money line parlay of the day, the Bucks and the Padres both get it done. No sweats in either of those. All plus 100, except for this one right here. You could have laddered this one for plus 100. You would have gotten it done. We added a few plays a little bit later. Washington in the first 5. This was annoying because Washington actually came back and won the game. So I was a little bit disappointing there. And then we did lose on our hitter parlay of the day. I also mentioned this one at the end of the video yesterday. And I said to sprinkle a little bit on Kyle Tucker for a home run. Well, guess what? He had a home run for the 4th straight game. So you might don't always just take my plays, guys. Listen to some of the things I'm saying, because my goal here is to put your eyes in the right direction. Take the own picks that you like. Maybe you don't like the bet that I took in a game, but at least I brought your attention to another player or to a different angle or to a total, whatever the case may be, because the enemy is the sports book. That's what we're trying to do. Fernando Tatis, he walked 2 times yesterday, so that kind of blew the hitter parlay. So that was a late night L, but the Dodgers helped us out there, and then also Chattanooga on the money line as well. Shout out to my alum UT Chat making it to the NIT finals, man. Going to be a great game. So yesterday, overall, a not bad day, a 5-2 day on the channel. So you can't knock that. You love to see that, guys, and that's really what we're here to do. Is just to help you all make money. And I want to talk about one thing real quickly before I dive into plays. I know a lot of times on gambling Twitter, we see a lot of people like posting tickets, and we're like, people are getting paid for plays and all this stuff. All of that's irrelevant, guys. I want you guys to focus on your bankroll. I want you guys to focus on your strategy. I want you to focus on your system. And if you cannot string together consistent winning days, if you can't get a sweep on your own personal card, that means that there's something wrong with the way that you're kind of handicapping these games. And that means means you have to go back to the drawing board and you got to get in your duffel. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I want to show you guys something real quickly. Back at the beginning of March, I really wanted to kind of do a reset. So I put some money in a different account. I still have one of my main accounts, but I put money in a separate account at a different sports book. And I was like, I just want to see what I can do here. Just kind of get back to the fundamentals and just kind of build up, stay really disciplined. I want to show you guys something real quickly here on the screen. You can see on my screen here, I have a whole bunch of screenshots pulled up, but you can see this is the account right here. I deposited $100 into the account. You see deposit March the 1st in Bitcoin, deposit $100 into that account, right? That same account at the end of this past month, this is what I was able to take out in withdrawals. Not in how much I made, just in withdrawals. The same account in 31 days, I was able to take out just under $12,000 in withdrawals. This is what happens when you stay locked in, when you have discipline, when you have the money line parlays, when you're not laying too much juice, when you're not taking 12, 20 leggers. I'm putting all the plays right here on Action Network. Yes, I'm using a little bit of different bankroll sizes. I'm using a little bit of few different strategies here and there, but overall, the things are remaining the same. The strategies are there. The games are there. The money line parlays are there. The bankroll management's there. So I'm showing you guys some of these things because it is possible. You do not have to be somebody who's getting paid by sponsors. You don't have to have the sports books giving you money. I'm somebody who hasn't clocked in 4 or 5 years, guys. I'm telling you, there's ways for you all to be able to do this if you locked in and if you get serious. And baseball is an excellent sport for you to be able to do this. NBA playoffs, player props, find your angle, find the lane, and let's get serious and let's start beating the sports books. And let's leave the things like boxing matches and Twitter beefs and spaces and all that extra BS to other individuals, because I don't know what other people are here to do. I'm here to make money, and hopefully you guys are as well. So let's dive into the picks for today. The first one of the day is going to be in the NBA. It's going to be a player prop between the Jazz and the Houston Rockets. And this is going to be an interesting game because I think this is a very dangerous NBA card. As you can see, we have very, very big spreads, 10.5, 14.5, 13-point spreads. So I would tread very lightly if I were you guys. But one bet that I'm going to take a look at first and foremost here, let me go here, is going to be Mr. Isaiah Collier for the Utah Jazz. And we're going to go over 16.5 points and assists in this one. I'm not a big fan of combo squares. You guys know that, as I do think you pay a premium for combo squares, but I do want to take the combo square here because Collier is a guy who can either give you points or he can give you assists, and sometimes he gives you both. Let's look at him recently. You guys know I love greens on the chart here on Doing Sports. And you can see for Collier recently, we've been getting a lot of green. His line for points is at 10.5. So if you want to get that, you can, because currently he's averaging 12 points per game over the last 10 games, going over this total in 6 of the last 10 games. But the reason why I really want to do a combo square with this one is because his assist line is at 5.5. And you can see what he's done from the assist perspective, averaging about 6 assists per game, going over this total in 7 of the last 10 games. So in total, and when we combine the 12 on average with the 6 on average, that gets us to about an 18 average. And again, we just need 17, so we're hovering right around that line. But I think we can get there just off of points alone. As you can see, he had 17 points against the Hornets here, 16 against the same Rockets team not too long ago, 21 points against the Grizzlies, and again 16 points against the Rockets is one of the things I want to point out. One of my buddies right now that I'm trying to help him grow his bankroll and help, he's kind of like I've been kind of coaching him and mentoring him a little bit with him in sports betting. And one of the things that he likes to do is he likes to look at like how this player has performed against a specific team in the past. And I think that's a good way to handicap sometimes. But the reason why you have to take that with a grain of salt is like the other day, he was like, I like Zach LaVine. He always goes off against the Pacers. He's gotten 20 points against or more against them in the last like 10 times, right? And I said, okay, that makes sense, but this is the problem. Zach LaVine is not on the Bulls no more. He's on a new system. He's a part of a new coach. He's a part of a new scheme. He's a part of new teammates. So sometimes when you use the analysis of what that player has done against a previous team, you have to look at the full scope. Is it the same coaching staff? Is it the same players? Is it the same system? Because otherwise that's kind of irrelevant if like you have somebody who you look at the game log and say they always go off against the Hawks, but the Hawks are now a defensive team instead of an offensive minded team, right? But one of the things I do think that narrative does work with is when you have a young player like Isaiah Collier, because typically when you have rookies, first or second year players, they typically find the teams that they can do better against. And as a young player player, that's how you get your confidence up. Yes, you always want to do good against LeBron and Steph and KD and the idols and the superstars. You always want to show it on national television. But when you're playing for a team like the Utah Jazz that does not get a whole lot of national primetime games, or when you're playing for an organization like the Hornets that have the LaMelo Ball, it kind of forces you to kind of, the role players to kind of fall underneath the radar. But for them personally, as an athlete, they know what games they're going to go good against. They know what teams they have an advantage against, or what players they can be able to score good against. And Isaiah Collier against the Rockets, you can see that. He had 16 points against them again on March the 27th a few weeks ago to go with 5 assists in that game, if I just scroll over real quickly. But then you can see here at the beginning of the season, or not beginning of the season, like a month before that, prior, on February the 22nd, he had 12 points against the same Rocket squad to go with 10 assists. So for me, this is a kind of when I want to look at basically what this player has done against this team in the past, because as a young player who's already had 2 strong performances against this Rocket squad, I think that gives him the confidence to come out to say, you know what, I'm going to shoot the ball 13, 14 times against them. Why? Because I already had 12 and 16 in 33 and 32 minutes. I already had 10 assists and 5 assists with, I already had a 26, 22 PRAs. So that kind of gives you confidence as like a smaller, as a role player. And let's just be honest, the Jazz don't have too much to play for right now. And then if you look at the defense for the Rockets against point guards, recently they've been giving up a lot of points to point guards. Isaiah Collier is not as, prolific as a scorer as a Luka, or as Trae Young, or as Jamal Murray, but again, the opportunity still presents itself. So I like Isaiah Collier today. We do have a pretty high total in this game, so it's at 226, so not too bad. But again, I think he can get 30 plus minutes on the floor, and that means it should lead to some shot attempts. He's going to have probably Van Vliet on him, which is more of like a smaller type of guard, or even Jalen Green, who's not that best of a defensive guard as well. So I think the opportunities will be there for Collier. We're just going to need his teammates to hit some shots on the assist side, and then him to put him some points as well. So we're going to lock that in for our first best bet of the day for to win one unit. The odds have already moved. I got it at minus 115, but you can see we're up to minus 120 now. That's all right. I'll lay it for the show. So let's do it here for the free 3. All right, here we go. All right, so that's for our first best bet of the day. All right, let's lock in our second one of the day here, guys. And our second one is going to be about our builder parlay. So player prop parlay, again, huge spreads, a huge blowout potential. So you want to keep that in mind. And this is a day where I do like to take, unless I see some angle that just like super jumps out at me, this is the day where I do want to take a tease down prop parlay. Why? Because when you have a blowout, sometimes the superstars don't get their full minutes, and now they're not able to get to their full line. So for me, the 2 players that I'm looking at today are the situational spots where kind of both teams need a win, but I think that both players are going to play significant minutes as well. So what we're going to go with is we're going to go OG Anunoby, 18 points, and then we're also going to go DeMar DeRozan for 20 plus points. If you want to take Anunoby for 15 points, because that's what your book does, either 15 or 20, I like him at 20 as well, but you can do 15 points and then maybe do like Halliburton for 15 points, or Halliburton assists. That's somebody you could take a look at. Obviously, you've got somebody like Tatum who should probably get 20 today. That might not be too crazy. Trae Young against the Mavericks, you can do about 8, 9 assists as well. So play around with a few different people if you don't want to do the 18-20. But I'm locking this one in on DraftKings. You can see right here that we're going to get it at about plus 116 odds here on DraftKings right here. And I'm actually starting to do the ladder challenge again on my DraftKings. So I'm going to start tracking that in person for you guys. So yesterday we did do the Padres and the Bucks money line on this account. So I'm going to start tracking that for you guys so you guys can see what we're doing with kind of like seeing if we can do the ladder challenge on here again this month. But again, DeRozan 20 points and then Anunoby 18 points. So let's talk about DeRozan real quickly. Let's go to the NBA standings and let's look at the Sacramento Kings. You can see right now they're in the 10th seed in the West, right there on that cusp line to be kind of eliminated from the play-in contention. This game matters for them. They're only a game and a half above the Phoenix Suns, but they're in a place where they're about a game behind the Dallas Mavericks, so they have a chance to kind of move up in positioning as well. So this game, again, is important for them in a very competitive Western Conference. They should pick up the win, and the Kings have struggled recently, which is why they've lost a lot of ground. You can see they've lost back-to-back games. They lost the last game to the Pacers by 2 points on the road. Then they lost to the Magic before that. They picked up a win against the Blazers. They lost 4 straight. Then they won 2 straight. Then they lost another 4 straight. So it's just been up and down for the Kings recently, and it's been a spiral. But the thing is, the games that they have won are against teams that they really should have beaten, like the Blazers, like the Grizzlies. I mean, this was a surprise win against the Cavaliers, in all honesty, like the Spurs. And today's matchup against the Wizards is a team that they frankly should win against. And given the fact that they're in that 10 spot, in that playing spot, every game matters. We should see a lot of minutes from the starters, and we should see them going hard in a must-win situation on the road. And DeMar DeRozan is a guy who's been absolutely a bucket for the Kings. You can see that 20 points that we need. He's gone over in 9 of the last 10 games, averaging 22 points per game over the last 10 games. The only game that he went under was the 10 points against OKC, and that's very understandable. Why? Because they have the defensive guards like Jalen Williams and Lou Dort to throw at DeRozan. But besides that, no other team has been able to hold DeRozan underneath 20 points over the last 10 games. And if we look at it on the road as well, that number actually goes up to 24 points per game for DeRozan on the road. And then if you look at him against the Washington Wizards, just this season on January the 19th, he had 24 points. And historically in his career, again, different systems, different teams. So you got to take these numbers up here in 2022, 2023 with a grain of salt. But overall, again, these are performances that you can say, all right, he has performed pretty well against this team, and he might like going against them. Only concern for me is he's only played against the Wizards once on the road since 2022. So that means that he's not played in this stadium in a little while. So that is a little bit of a point of concern. But again, because of the situational spot for the Kings, they're going to need the points. If we look up here, scroll up to the game overview, we have a total of 231.5. That is a pretty high total, and the Kings being 13-point favorites. That means that the team total for the Kings is probably what, at like 117, 118, 122.5, right? So if we are saying 122 points, you're going to need, I mean, what? You got Levine, who might give you 20. Sabonis might give you 20. Malik Monk maybe give you 20. So then besides that, you got to get DeRozan in there to give you 20. How else we get into 122, right? So that's, for me, DeRozan, 20-plus points, must-win situation for the Sacramento Kings against the Washington Wizards, who are god-awful, and I think DeRozan should be able to do it. Now, for the New York Knicks, they have struggled against the top teams in the Eastern Conference. If we go over to the standings real quickly, the Knicks are clinched into the playoffs. They're in a position where they're not going to have to play in the play-in. They're good with the number 3 seed. The key for the Knicks right now are getting healthy. Carl Anthony Towns is questionable in this game, even though I think he does play. They're still without Jalen Brunson. So there's just a lot of question marks surrounding the health of this Knicks team. But what Tom Thibodeau team does not have health concerns at this point in the season. But one player who's been playing very well for the Knicks is OG Anunoby. And we can look real quickly here. Over the last 10 games, he's been averaging 24 points per game, including 27 last night against the Sixers, 28 against the Trailblazers, 31 against the Bucks. So he's really been stepping up in the absence of Jalen Brunson and really trying to help out Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges in that kind of secondary third scorer type of role. And today, to get 18 points against this Cleveland Cavaliers team, I think is very possible. Now, I know the Cleveland Cavaliers are the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, and I know they've had the Knicks number all year, and the Knicks have absolutely gotten smacked by the top teams in the East and the West, and that's why I think this is a good game for the Knicks to be able to prove, like, hey, we can play with the big dogs. We have the ability to be contentious, because right now the Knicks have looked good against everybody but the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the top teams in the East and West. So this is a good chance for them, but for me, I think they're just going to have to rely on Anunoby, even if they do get blown out, because like I said, Karl Anthony Towns right now is questionable to play. So even if he doesn't play, that means the next leading scorer for them is going to have to be Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby. And then if we go to Fantasy Pros real quickly and we look at the teams that are giving up the most points per game to the small forward position over the last 30 days, you can see the Cleveland Cavaliers are right here. So that means they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're giving up the 8th most points per game to the small forward position over the last 30 days. And OG Anunoby is the number 1 scoring small forward / power forward right now in the NBA, if you believe it or not. So for me, I like the way Anunoby's been hooping over the last 30 days or so. He's cleared this number pretty easily. If you want to take his line at 20.5, I'm not opposed to that as well. The question is just who else is going to be scoring the points for this Knicks team besides, Karl Anthony Towns. They're going to need help. I know the Cavaliers are a tough team. And then also keep in mind, Thibodeau, he's one of those coaches where you could be getting blown out by 20 points, and he's going to keep you in until at least 3-4 minutes left in the fourth quarter as well. He's not one of those guys who's going to pull the plug, maybe because it's on the second night of a back-to-back, maybe, but also given the fact that they blew out the 76ers last night and he only played 33, only 33, that's kind of low for Thibs. I think that we should see a full workload for Anunoby today. So that is going to be the second pick of the day. I'm not going to lock it in right now live just because I have to do the custom thing here on Action, but that is it. 18 points for Anunoby, 20 points for DeRozan. So that's two picks that we've locked in so far here on the NBA, guys. Let's see for the final best bet that we're going to cook up for today, guys, is going to be our money line parlay of the day. And we're going to go here to the baseball card. We have a lot of early games. And if you guys are new to the channel, then you guys know I typically don't like to cover early games because most people watch my videos in the afternoon. But if you want some of my leans on the early games, I do like the under in the Rangers-Reds game. There is a lot of wind that is expected in that game. I did take the Nerfy in this game as well. And I do like the first 5 under. That is a do with that information as you will. I do think the Rays are an underdog today. You could take a look at. Paul Skeens is on the mound for the Pirates, but the Pirates bullpen is so bad that if I was going to play the Pirates here, I would do this as a first 5. I like the Twins today, but the White Sox, there's a lot of value with them right now at the beginning of the season, and the Twins haven't necessarily looked the best. But the money line parlay of the day that we're going to lock in for you guys is going to be the Mets on the money line and the Philadelphia Phillies on the money line. So two teams that should really get it done, two really big favorites. That gets us to -104. If you're really greedy, I'm going to call it greedy, but because I did it, so don't worry. But if you want to get to +100, then just go to the NBA and take one of these big favorites on the money line. And the one I did was the Sacramento Kings because, again, they kind of need the win against the Wizards. So that gets you to like +122 right there. So you can lock that in. But officially for me, the pick is going to be the baseball lay of like the Braves on the money. The Mets on the money line, Phillies on the money line. So let's go look at these games real quickly. Go to MLB.com. I just like to look at it on MLB just because you can see the pitching matchups a little bit better. I should have prepped this before. But for the New York Mets, right quick. No, that's Thursday. Here we go. Wednesday. Something like that. Okay, New York Mets. This game starts at 4:40, so still pretty much of an early game. But on the mound for the Marlins, this is more of a fade on the Marlins for Connor Gillespie. They're going with a bullpen game here. Like you can see his ERA to even start this year already is at 5.4. He pitched 5 innings here, 4 hits, 4 earned, 4 runs, 1 home run, 4 walks against the Pirates. And the 4 walks to me is the big concern. Like everybody gives up home runs, everybody gives up runs and hits. But when you don't have the control and you're not striking out, guys, that's like it's just an issue. Free base runners is just the easiest way in baseball for you to just to like literally lose games. And anytime I have a pitcher who's just not cognizant about their control or just struggles with it, I always typically tend to look to fade them or just be a little bit more cautious. And this Mets offense, we know how dynamic they can be with the names that they've got on paper. The Marlins don't have a lot of weapons, and the Marlins, even though they are 4-2, they won their first like 4 games on walk-off fashion. So it's not like they were winning the games handily. It's not like they were up, blowing out their opponent. They literally won it at the last second. And the Mets, after starting off their season slow against the the Houston Rockets, I like them here to pick up a few more wins in this series against the Marlins. So I like them. I also like the way Holmes looked in his first start as well. He went 4 2/3 against the Houston Rockets, and it wasn't bad. It was only a 3-1 loss. 2 of them were earned. Again, he struggled to control as well with 4 walks, so that is something to take a look at. But this is not the same type of lineup that Houston has. Houston has the lineup where you're going to get 4 walks when you've got Alvarez, when you've got Altuve, when you've got Pena. The Marlins don't have those type of hitters, so for me, the Mets should win this game, and they could cover the run line as well. Same thing with the Phillies. They should cover the run line against the Rockies. They should win this game. Zach Wheeler's on the mound. It's just Zach Wheeler's that dude. He's damn cold. He's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. He was an NL Cy Young runner-up last year, 1.5 ERA to start the year, and the one earned run that he gave up right here was a mistake pitch home run, and it literally came on the 14th pitch of the at-bat. The dude literally fouled off like 30 different pitches, and then he caught one and he knocked it out of the park. So, kudos to the hitter for being able to do that. But 6 innings, only 2 hits, and one of them, again, was the home run to go with 2 walks and then 8 strikeouts. That's kind of the walk to strikeout ratio that we need to see. Not 4 walks to 4 strikeouts and 6 hits. So for me, Zach Wheeler, the better offense here. The Phillies are the better team. Rockies, they're going going to be a fade for most of the season, so not too much to dive into there. Just take the 2 favorites on the money line to get it done. The NL East parlay, Mets, Phillies, that gets you to almost plus 100. And like I said, you can go to the NBA, get you a big favorite like the Sacramento Kings, and that should get you over the 100 hump. So that is it for us today, my friends. 3 best bets that I've locked in on today's card here on the free 3 real quickly for you guys. Let us go with the Mets and Phillies on the money line, and then we're going to go with Isaiah Collier over 16.5 points and assists. And then finally, you could do a builder parlay with Anunoby 18 points and then DeRozan 20 points. And like my boy Real Exclusive said, he can't do 18 points on his book. Then you could do 15 for OG and then throw in somebody else in there. You got Halliburton's assists or points. You've got Trae Young's assists, tees down you could do. So a few different things that you guys can play around with as well on there. So don't be afraid to get jiggy with it. Maybe a rebound prop or something. And again, it's tees down. So just take somebody that you think is going to get the minutes and you should be good. For my Nerfy, Bobby, this is what I like. I like the Nerfy in the Rangers, and the early Nerfy I got is in the Rangers and Reds game because of the wind that we're getting. There's about 13-mile-per-hour winds that are coming out of Great American Ballpark there. And then Hunter Green, he is a pretty strong pitcher. And then John Leiter as well. He started off the year. He's 1-0. He had a pretty good start as well. So I like this as an early Nerfy. And then I should have a few later Nerfies. I'll drop that on the TikTok here a little bit later. I'm going to do a little bit more research on just a few more of these afternoon pitcher matchups, but I do like this Rangers Reds Nerfy to get us started. The Pirates Rays one shouldn't be bad as well. Paul Skeens on the mound, so he should be able to get through the Rays lineup, and then the Rays starting pitching has been dominant to start the season, so I'm not opposed to them that Nerfy as well. All right, guys, so those are the ones that we're going to lock in with for today. Appreciate y'all for tapping in this morning per usual. If we sweep the board again, we're going to get somebody else paid, man, so I appreciate all the love and support that you guys show. Let's continue to make money, and then all my plays are going to be at Noble Living on Action that I'll add throughout the day. I might take one in the college basketball crown. I might not. I might add like 1 or 2 solo baseball plays as well besides the parlays. So if you want that, again, that is going to be Noble Living at Action Network and then also on X as well. All right, appreciate y'all. The Nobu Nerfy will be on TikTok at Noble Living, so make sure you guys tap in and grab that one as well. So let's get that going. All right, appreciate y'all. Let's have a day. Subscribe. Love y'all. Let's have a day. Get that cheddar. See y'all on tomorrow's video. Later, gang.